PSLV, we can draw a basic diagram. So PSLV, we say that there are so this stage is called as first stage, second stage, fourth stage. And here it uses solid engine, then it uses liquid engine, then again solid, again liquid engine. And this is the payload. And in the first stage, you will also see some booster rockets are there. These are called as booster rockets, या इसको बोलते हैं strap on motors. आपको लगेगा कि ये जानना जरूरी है क्या कितने स्टेजेस हैं या नहीं है? जरूरी है या नहीं है? होता ही होगा. So you'll get the idea that UPSC will even ask you that PSLV has how many stages. It has already asked. I'll show you the question also. GSLV has how many stages. So you might think that UPSC might not ask such things, but they are still asking these questions. So that is why we will go up to a depth only to the extent that you will be able to answer all the types of questions that UPSC can possibly ask. Okay. Done with this diagram? Okay, so what is full form of PSLV? Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle. So you can write PSLV is third generation of India's launch vehicle. PSLV is third generation. PSLV is third generation of India's launch vehicles. It was first successfully tested. It was first successfully tested in 1994. It was first successfully tested in 1994. PSLV is India's first launch vehicle. PSLV is India's first launch vehicle to use liquid engine. PSLV is India's first launch vehicle to use liquid engine. Underline this particular statement. कि ये 3 जनरेशन में ये पहला है जिसमें लिक्विड इंजन यूज हुई है. इसके पहले तक आपने क्या देखा है? सॉलिड्स यूज कर रहे थे. सो इट हैज लिक्विड इंजन. नेक्स्ट, it has liquid engine. It has 4 stages. PSLV has 4 stages, starting with which stage? Solid. Starting with solid stage, solid, then liquid, solid, again liquid, starting with solid stage, then liquid, then solid, then again liquid. It is also expendable launch vehicle. It is also an expendable launch vehicle. How? That is what I want to ask first. What do you understand by this? Expendable launch vehicle क्यों बोल रहे हैं? साइज बड़ा है. एक्सपैंडेबल नहीं है, एक्सपेंडेबल. बूस्टर की वजह से. इट इज ऑपोजिट ऑफ रीयूजेबल. आप इसको वन टाइम यूज कर सकते हो, इस रॉकेट को आप बार बार यूज नहीं कर सकते. व्हाट? हाँ, बाकी रॉकेट इंडिया में अभी तक वो डेवलप नहीं हुआ है. जो RLV TD है वो पहला होगा यदि बना लेते हैं, जो कि रीयूजेबल होगा. सो वी आर यूजिंग अ टर्म एक्सपेंडेबल. सो व्हाट हैपेंस व्हेन दिस इज लॉन्च्ड? सो लेट्स से दिस इज इंडिया, वी टेंड टू लॉन्च इट फ्रॉम हियर. तो आप लॉन्च करते हो तो पहला स्टेज ऑन होता है, बूस्टर स्टेजेस भी ऑन होते हैं क्योंकि पहले में वेट बहुत ज्यादा है, तो बूस्टर और फर्स्ट स्टेज ऑन होते हैं. बूस्टर और फर्स्ट स्टेज ऑन होते हैं तो थ्रस्ट प्रोवाइड करते हैं फॉर लिफ्ट ऑफ. सो इट लिफ्ट्स ऑफ एंड आफ्टर फ्यू सेकेंड्स यू विल सी दैट दीज विल फॉल ऑफ. बूस्टर रॉकेट्स डिसोसिएट होके गिर जाएंगे. कहाँ गिरेंगे? हाँ, ओशन. चलो, बे ऑफ बंगाल नहीं याद है. हाँ, बे ऑफ बंगाल. So we are launching generally from eastern coast. There is also a reason for this. So let's say the booster rockets, they fall. Booster rockets, they fall off. Then what will happen? The first stage will also then, this will also dissociate. It will fall off. अब ये second stage on होगी. Second stage क्या करेगी? रॉकेट को कुछ पर्टिकुलर हाइट तक लेके जाएगी. फिर क्या होगा? ये भी डिसोसिएट होके, हाँ, नॉट अंडरमान्स. वी प्लान दैट, वी नो दैट वेयर इट विल fall. किसी के सर पे नहीं गिरना चाहिए. That so what you can see here, that these stages, they keep on falling in the ocean. So it reaches to a particular point, to a particular height, and till here this stage has fallen off. This stage has fallen off. Now the last stage is the one which pushes it beyond the atmosphere. It pushes it into space beyond the Kármán line. So this stage will push the satellite in Kármán line. What is happening to all these stages? They are falling off in the ocean. So since they are falling off in the ocean, we hardly recover them and we can hardly reuse them. So that is why we use the term expendable. That is, we cannot reuse the most important parts of the launch vehicle. That is why the cost also becomes very, very high. So here you can mention, what do you mean by expendable? When सॉलिड का एडवांटेज ये है कि वो बहुत तेजी से बर्न कर सकता है. तो इनिशियल जब थ्रस्ट आपको ज्यादा चाहिए तो यू वुड वांट समथिंग व्हिच कैन बर्न वेरी वेरी क्विकली. बट इफ यू वांट इट फॉर अ सस्टेन्ड टाइम, लॉन्गर ड्यूरेशन, कि लॉन्ग टर्म तक वो बर्न करे, तो आप लिक्विड प्रेफर करते हो. फिर एक जब जैसी एटमॉस्फेयर से लास्ट वाले स्टेज में पहुंचने के लिए फिर आपको ज्यादा थ्रस्ट चाहिए होता है, तो आप सॉलिड यूज करते हो. फिर जैसे आप स्पेस में पहुंच जाते हो तो स्पेस में फ्रिक्शन नहीं है क्योंकि एयर नहीं है, बट आपको लंबी दूरी तक स्पेस में ट्रैवल करना है, तो आप लिक्विड यूज करोगे. तो लिक्विड और सॉलिड का कॉम्बिनेशन यूज करते हैं क्योंकि दोनों के कुछ कुछ एडवांटेजेस और डिसएडवांटेजेस हैं. दैट इज व्हाई. मिक्सचर, सेमी सॉलिड, नो, मतलब एक ही स्टेट चूज करेंगे क्योंकि जो भी कंपाउंड होगा एक ही स्टेट में होगा ना. कोई मिक्स तो नहीं होगा कि एक लिक्विड में है और एक गैस में. देयर इज ओनली वन थिंग व्हिच कैन बी एट 3 स्टेट्स एट द सेम टाइम, दैट इज वाटर ओनली. किसको अलग कर दें? हाँ, यहाँ से यहाँ शिफ्ट कर दिया, हाँ कर सकते हैं, बट प्रॉब्लम ये है कि इस पॉइंट को चूज करा है हमने, देयर इज अ स्ट्रेटेजिक रीजन। किसकी? हाँ बिल्कुल बिल्कुल चेंज। सो ये सारी चीजें कैलकुलेटेड होती हैं, इसलिए ये ज्योग्राफिकल फिक्स होती हैं कि कहाँ से लॉन्च होता है। आप यहाँ से लॉन्च नहीं करोगे, यहाँ से लॉन्च करोगे कहाँ गिरेगा? महाराष्ट्र में। So you would tend to send it from the eastern coast where you know that these will fall in the ocean, and you also know where it will exactly fall, so you'll use your navy to actually vacate that space also. So all of these things are planned before launching itself. Okay, so you can write expendable. ऐसा लग रहा है सीधा आपको इसरो ही जाना है। Expendable. So what is the line that you have written? It is also an expendable launch vehicle, meaning that the different stages, meaning that the different stages after completion of combustion, meaning different stages after completion of combustion fall off in the ocean, fall off in the ocean. Okay, so next, significance of PSLV, you can write that why it is so important for us. Significance of PSLV. What do you know about significance of PSLV? Out of all the launch vehicles that India has developed, it is the most reliable launch vehicle of India. 1994 से 2017 तक इन्होंने जितने भी PSLVs भेजे, किसी में एक भी फेलियर नहीं रहा. So there were 34-35 consecutive successful flights. So it has emerged out as what we call as workhorse of ISRO. और इसने सिर्फ इंडिया के ही सैटेलाइट्स नहीं भेजे हैं, it has sent satellites of foreign countries. In fact, it has sent more than 200 foreign satellites and more than 50 Indian satellites. So ISRO heavily depends on PSLV for sending satellites. Okay, but before that we will write payload capacity. अच्छा, significance में लिख लेते हैं. Significance of PSLV. First point you have written. अच्छा, पहला लिखते हैं. So first point that you can write, it has payload capacity. It has payload capacity of 1700 kg in LEO. 1700 kg in LEO, which is much more than what ASLV could carry. Which is much more than what ASLV could carry. ASLV का कितना था? 150 kg. So you can see at least 10-11 times the payload capacity has increased. Next, it has PSLV has emerged. Next, PSLV has emerged as workhorse of ISRO. Has emerged as workhorse of ISRO. In this point only, you can mention it has sent more than 200. It has sent more than 200 foreign satellites and more than 50 Indian satellites and more than 50 Indian satellites. Next, it also has very high success rate, more than 15 nahi, So it has sent more than 200 foreign satellites and more than 50 Indian satellites. It also has very high success rate. It also has very high success rate. Next, it has been used. It has been used in some of the most important missions. It has been used in some of the most important missions, such as Chandrayaan 1, and Mangalyaan mission. चंद्रयान, मंगलयान. फाइंड आउट आदित्य के लिए कौन सा यूज कर रहा है? हाँ, PSLV या GSLV? GSLV. हाँ, so that is a homework. Find out आदित्य में कौन सा है? GSLV. Confirm. So that is what you have to find. So your friend is saying PSLV, so you have to confirm. Number of payloads is not very important from UPSC perspective. UPSC is not going to ask you what are the number of payloads, what are the instruments that has been sent. But what is UPSC going to ask you, let's say in Chandrayaan 1, Chandrayaan 2, Chandrayaan 3, is the related concepts associated with it. So in Chandrayaan 2, if there was a failure of Chandrayaan 2, what was the failure? What do you understand by the concept of soft landing? And why soft landing is so difficult? India would have become fourth country. And at the same year, Bereshit, that is Israel, also tried. So it also failed. So what you have to know actually is some conceptual aspects. Factual aspect UPSC बहुत नहीं पूछती है until unless उसमें कुछ concept embedded ना हो. कुछ concept embedded होगा तभी वो पूछते हैं factual चीजें भी. वो आपको पकड़ आनी चाहिए कि कुछ factual चीजें पूछ रहे हैं तो definitely उसके पीछे कोई concept होगा. That we might have. PSLV?
Unacademy. Let's crack it.